Today we're talking about some massive news coming from OpenAI and ChatGPT. They just announced work with apps on macOS, and this feature is the start of the AI agent race. Trust me when I say it's probably bigger than you think. Since day one with ChatGPT, Claude, or any of the other models, we would have to go to our code, copy it, and then paste it into the model to get an answer. You can now directly link your coding apps to ChatGPT so that it has view and context to all of your code so that it can directly make suggestions and answer your questions. Let me show you exactly how this works. So heading over to ChatGPT on my Mac and making sure that it's fully updated. When you go to start a chat, you have this new button at the bottom, which allows you to connect to different applications. So I have VS Code and I have my terminal connected, and all you have to do is click the plus icon for it to work with that specific application. Before we jump into the details, just so you're aware, this is available for Plus and Team users currently, and it'll shortly be available for Enterprise and Education users. All right, so what is this compatible with? For editors, we have Visual Studio Code, Xcode, and TextEdit. And then for terminals, we have the Terminal app and iTerm. Let's jump into a couple of quick examples. So first things first, what I'm gonna do is link our VS Code to ChatGPT. So I've got that linked, and then I'm gonna head over to VS Code. And I think the most simple first example people get when they're learning Python is printing hello world. So what we'll do is go back to ChatGPT, and we'll ask it to make it a lot more fun without requiring any additional installations. Okay, so you can see it generated all this code. It first began by looking at VS Code, seeing what was there already, and then making these additions. So we'll copy this. We will go over to Visual Studio Code, paste it in. When we run it, we now get Hello World in a much more fun format. The second example that I want to show you is debugging. So the cool thing about this new feature is that you can link it to multiple applications at once. So I can go ahead and link VS Code again, and then I can go back and also link Terminal. So what this means is that if I go over to VS Code and I go to some file that I'm having an issue with, and I go to my terminal and try to run this file, I'm getting an issue. And what I can do is go over to ChatGPT and just say, help me resolve this issue. And it's gonna look at both VS Code and my terminal at the same time to figure out what the bug is and make a correction. And as you can see, we now have a working file. The third example is straight up helping you learn. And I think we've all used AI and leaned on it for this in the past, but it's really nice to have ChatGPT be able to view your file when you're trying to learn. So, if there's something that you just don't quite understand, giving it access to your entire file makes it much easier to ask questions. And as you can see, it's going to break down our code line by line and give us instructions. Here are a couple of tips to get the most out of this new feature. So first thing, like I already showed, it's important to know that you can share more than one app at a time. And this is very useful, as you can imagine, because the more context that ChatGPT has, the better it can answer your questions and do whatever you need it to do. The second cool feature is that you can actually highlight parts of your code. So if I come to VS Code and I highlight this part right here, I can go back to ChatGPT and just say, can you explain this portion? And what it's gonna do is focus on that selected portion. You can actually see even here it says focused on lines 19 through 21. And it still has context to the entire file, but it lets you dig deep into the parts that you want to understand. The third tip is just try to keep your editor organized, because with ChatGPT having visibility to the entire file, any mess that you have going on is going to cause confusion for the model. Now, one of the major red flags or potential for red flags here is privacy. And I know that with something that's controlling or looking at your applications, the concern is a little bit higher. And that makes sense. I have the same concern. There's a couple of things that OpenAI noted. The first is that if you want, you can disable this feature completely, so you don't have to use it. Number two, you have control over which applications access it. So if you want to turn on only certain applications, feel free to do that. Third, you do still have the ability to turn off the training of the model from your conversations, so you could do that. And then lastly, you can always use a temporary chat if you're looking for like an extra layer of security. Looking into the future, I'm very excited for additional applications to be added. So I'm not only talking about development applications, but also just everyday real life applications. Think email or video editors, your notes, anything that you work on every day that you could have a model like ChatGPT work on for you would be so useful. Second, I'm looking forward to collaboration features. So imagine multiple people having access to like a team environment where they can be talking to ChatGPT at the same time and having adjustments made to their joint project. And then lastly, and probably most exciting, I think where this world of AI agents is heading is cross-device functionality. Imagine picking up your phone and using advanced voice mode to control your computer. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just fun to think of different scenarios, and it's crazy how fast we're moving towards them. I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. Let me know what you think, or if you have any other ideas on what to do with it or what this means for the future of AI. As always, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.